is a shadow, there is light. A shadow is made when an object blocks light. The shadow appears on the side of the object furthest from the light source. Light travels in a straight line, and when something gets in the way, a shadow is formed. A shadow is made when an opaque or translucent object blocks a light source from traveling through it. The object must be opaque or translucent to make a shadow. A transparent object, such as glass, will not make any shadow, as light will pass straight through it. Translucent objects make faint shadows. Translucent materials let some light through, but they scatter the light in all directions so that you cannot see clearly through them. Tissue paper is an example of a translucent material. Opaque objects make dark shadows. Opaque materials do not let any light pass through them. They block the light. Wood is an example of an opaque material. There must be a light source in order to have a shadow. Light comes from many different places. Examples include a light bulb, a lamp, flashlight, candles, and our biggest light source, the sun. Light is pretty amazing. You can see it, but you can't touch it. The size of the shadow depends on how far the object is from the light source. If an object is moved further away from the light source, the shadow gets smaller. If an object is moved closer to the light source, the shadow gets bigger. As you can see here, the girl's shadow is getting larger as she moves closer to the light. This picture of the stick was taken at lunchtime. Notice the shadow is somewhat short. Now look at the shadow at 10 o'clock in the morning and notice that the shadow is longer. The sun makes the shortest shadows at midday or lunchtime when the sun is highest in the sky. This picture shows a short shadow when the lamp is held right above the object. The sun makes the longest shadows in the morning and late afternoon when the sun is low in the sky. This picture shows a long shadow when the lamp is held beside the object. Here is another example of this concept. The girl is shown here at lunchtime when her shadow measured 23 inches. She is shown again here in the late afternoon. This time her shadow measured 46 inches. So her shadow is double or 23 inches longer in late afternoon. Again, this girl is looking at her shadow and it is noon or lunchtime. She is taller than the previous girl, so her shadow measured 27 inches at lunch and 50 inches in late afternoon. So her shadow is also 23 inches longer in the late afternoon. Hundreds of years ago, people used sundials, such as this one, to tell time. You can tell time, the time of the day, by the shadow the sun makes. A sundial only uses the sun in shadows. Here is a human sundial. As seen earlier, a person's shadow is different at different times during the day. The shadow shown here indicates that it is about 10 o'clock in the morning.